Are you allowing linear decision making to force you into bad decisions that have an impact on your business? Well, let's do a case study of when this recently happened and the devastating results of that. Kevin Ware, your action business coach. And what I'm going to be talking about today is the show Dave, Ken, and Molly. Now, if you are in the Spokane, Washington area, and I say the names Dave, Ken, and Molly, you know immediately who I'm talking about. If you are outside the Spokane, Washington, Dave, Ken, and Molly are Dave Sposito, Ken Hopkins, and Molly Allen. They have a show called the Dave, Ken, and Molly Show on 92.9 KZZU. It's a morning drive time show from 6 to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. Well, recently they did. They've been around for 30 plus years. Originally it started as Dave and Ken as the Breakfast Boys. And I had the privilege of being in their studio for a full week. When they were the Breakfast Boys, I used to be the regional marketing manager for Taco Bell in the Eastern Washington, Northern Idaho region. And we corporate did a full week where we promoted different food products, and I brought food to them, and we had a blast. And Dave and Ken are just great guys. And I don't personally know Molly, but I understand their character. Now, they've been successful in this radio market for 30 plus years. #1 radio show, dominated everything. Well, what happened? They were fired after their show on Thursday, June 20th. After the show ended, the management came in, let them go, and that was it. Now, why did this happen? Well, if you understand anything about the economics of radio, a lot of people are now, most people listen to the radio when they're in their vehicles. What's happening? Most people are now switching over to listen to podcasts in their car. You also have Sirius XM, a lot of people subscribe to, and they have so many more options there. So the radio market, the over-the-air radio market, has become very economically challenged. And totally understand. Dave, Ken, and Molly's show was obviously very expensive for the station to produce. So, what probably should have happened? Well, probably the station should have alerted Dave, Ken, and Molly that this is going to be their last day and give them enough time to say goodbye to their audience. These people have been on the air for 30 plus years. They're professionals. They know how to do things and to be honorable with how they approach their audience. And then immediately after this happening, Morgan Murphy Media, who owns the station, that owns a number of stations, should have immediately made a public announcement thanking Dave, Ken, and Molly for the years of service and wishing them the best in the future and explaining why this was such a painful decision. Well, what actually did happen is that, as I said, they were informed right after the show, not allowed to make any sort of goodbye broadcast to their fans. And then the corporation, Morgan Murphy Media, waited 3 days to put out this very terse announcement. And I'm going to read this to you. Quote, "We are restructuring operations to reflect current economic conditions while maintaining our commitment to our lawyer, listeners, partners, and community into the future." And that's it. Yeah, that is about as cold a public relations announcement as I have ever heard in my life. That had no life. That was as deader than a dead doornail. I can't believe that a corporation would basically do that and say those things in such an ice cold fashion. So why did this happen? And I was communicating with a really super good friend of theirs, and I ran this theory by him, and he says, yep, that's exactly what happened. So what probably happened is that corporate lawyers got involved. And what probably happened is they looked at their contracts and said, well, the best way we're going to not expose ourselves legally is to immediately let them go, make no announcement, and just leave it at that. This is what I call classic linear thinking. So, what is linear thinking? Linear thinking is focused in on the immediate issues. Something you can see right in front of you. Is it a spreadsheet saying that we're going to have some, financial challenges come in the future? Is it a legal agreement that spells out specific things? Okay? It also follows a line of financial or legal logic that lessens the impact of any kind of decision making. Well, we want to avoid lawsuits. We want to avoid financial losses. And then it zeroes in on very predictable outcomes. Well, if we do this, then this will happen. Okay, it's pure logic 101. Here's the problem with linear thinking is that it has no element of what I call global thinking. So what is global thinking? Global thinking looks at long-range ramifications of any decision that you make. It takes a look at how the decision treats people. It looks as humans as a major process in the decision making and looks at how that impacts a larger community beyond just the specific decision. And it also takes into account possibilities not thought about, third level ramifications, fourth level ramifications, what will be the generalized impact and the reverberation of these decisions in a much more global context. When we're taking a look at decision making, both elements have to be in the process to make an effective decision. See, just if you only do linear thinking, great. You've got a process, an A, B, and C, and D process that solves that immediate problem in front of you. However, everything around it then gets ignored, and you get surprised and shocked by things that you hadn't thought about that might have a 10 times impact on what you thought was the most important thing. So now, what does this mean for you, the small business owner? When you are making a decision, you need to incorporate both elements of decision making. Yes, you've got the lawyer, you've got the accountant, you've got those people who are going to show you what logic says. That's the whole thing, is you do need detailed decision making. But I see so many businesses then forget the other side of decision making using that global thinking, looking at incorporating different thought processes. What can we do to look outside the box to see what this decision will involve? Here's a great way to minimize the process of linear decision making is utilize the creativity of your team. What could we do to get team members outside of the pure decision making process and brainstorm and said, what could possibly happen if we make this decision? What's going to be the impact that it's going to have not only our business in the short term, but in our business long term, our future, where are we going? What's the vision of our business? All great decision making takes a look at the vision and the mission of the business and says, this is the global thinking scope. Here's where we want to go. Here's a vision. Here's how we plan on getting there, the mission, and here is the culture of our company, the way we behave, and does this decision fit with that vision, mission, and culture that we have? And I can tell you right now, so many times linear decision making does not take into context a vision, mission, and culture of the business. And I can almost guarantee you that Morgan Murphy Media probably did not even remotely look at their vision, mission, and culture in making the decision that they did and then communicating that decision out to the general public. So, bottom line, use both linear thinking, which is easy, and global thinking, which is more difficult, to come up with the best decisions that you can get in your business. Go out there and make that happen.